So good morning, yogis. Lovely morning this morning. Spring is definitely on the way and the daffodils are starting to open up, which is really lovely. Always puts a smile on my face when I start to see all the flowers come. So if you're out and about today, have a little look, see what you can find. So let's just have a few moments, settling, tuning into how you're feeling, and just becoming present in this moment with our breath. Maybe you can close your eyes and just follow the inhale and exhale and the temperature around the nostrils as you breathe. How is your breath today? Is it laboured? Are you short of breath? Or does it feel good to really use the diaphragm and take that breath down into our belly? And just being aware today of anything that you need to be gentle with. So Satya and Himsa, that truth and non-harm to your body. If any pose that we come into doesn't feel right, just adjusting as you need to, or completely coming out of it and doing something that you know does suit you. And then just joining in with anything else that you can do. So when you're ready, those of you lying down, just hug your knees in, nice and slowly. Have a lovely rock from side to side, and maybe moving in some small circles on your back. If you're already seated, and maybe just a nice little flex of the spine, rocking the head, just to sort of feel into your body before we sit for a little while in Zazen. The beauty of yin is that it is a slow practice. There isn't a rush. So everything we do, we can just enjoy how we move from one position to another. So this morning we're just going to have Zazen, so seated, quiet meditation, where we just follow our breath until the mind wanders as it normally will. And then when you find yourself off on a thread of a thought, just try and come back to the breath again. So the breath is that one thing that can really kind of bring us back into the present and that focus. But just sitting with ourselves without any agenda, without any judgment on how our practice goes. We'll take 5 minutes. So just begin relaxed. And sometimes this takes a few moments to actually really allow the body to soften. Try not to doze off and droop. Try and have that kind of consciousness of being very aware of what we're doing, just sitting and being aware. So letting the eyelids close. And following your breath. Just relax a little bit more. And enjoying being the observer of your thoughts. staying relaxed. Noticing if you're in the present right now. So as we just come to the end of 5 minutes, notice how you're feeling. Sometimes it almost takes that time, the 5 minutes, to really kind of drop into a lovely kind of a different vibration, and then you might come out of it. So notice if maybe 10 minutes would have been better for you, if it's something that you practice in your own time. How busy was your mind? Was it monkey mind, or did it gradually just settle and you could be conscious of your thoughts? It's always fascinating to me how each practice of meditation unfolds, basically. So we're going to come into Mantis, our first pose. So taking knees wide and dropping down to the mat. If you want a little cushion under the belly, or if you need a block under the head, and just using whatever props you feel you need today. And if this is quite a deep compression in your knees, you can always put like a rolled up blanket behind them so it's a little bit more comfortable. And if it doesn't suit you at all, just coming into a pose that does. Taking a nice deep breath in and a long sigh. This is a really lovely stretch for the back, and just allowing the arms to stretch but become passive and not too engaged. As you start to settle here, just becoming aware of the shoulders and your neck, whether the shoulders feel like they're lifting to the ears or whether you can softly drop them and let them soften. And then lovely deep breaths to your belly. How does this pose feel? Are you starting to feel that lovely stretch developing on the inner thighs? Keep allowing it to soften in the upper back between your shoulder blades. Just keep looking through your body. Anything else to relax? How does this feel around your upper back? The back of your heart energy? And do you notice if you're tight in your face and your cheeks? This is a really nice pose for your liver and your kidneys and your stomach. Stimulating the meridians linked with them, and the arms, the heart and lungs, large and small intestine. So let's just gently take one more breath here. Slowly lifting the head. The head has been really low, so just being aware of any dizziness as you come up. Take a moment and then just find Shavasana. Nice and slowly. Coming out of that compression in our legs. And enjoying how it feels to lie down. How does it feel through your back and your legs, knees? Probably feeling a nice tingliness on the tops of your legs where we've been pushed into the mat. Nice coolness perhaps around the upper thighs, groin area, really stimulating our liver and our kidney meridians here. And how long does it take for your back to really relax? Just staying with whatever sensations you're feeling. And perhaps the breath is just easier now. And then when you're ready, bring your knees in for a little hug. And then we're going to come up into dragon next. So you might want some padding under your knees. And we come into this pose that's very much like a lunge. So rolling up. We won't hold it for the whole time. But today I think I'm going to use a little cushion under my left knee. So we're going to bring the right leg forwards, and then the left leg is behind you. Oh, that's the dog. And so your right foot is to the outside of your hands. It's quite a strong posture, quite intense. When you first come into it, you might feel very engaged in the abdomen and the belly. So just trying to soften through the hip flexors. And trying to just breathe if this is challenging and difficult today. Breathe through the posture, gently letting everything soften very, very gradually. Some days you'll like this pose, other days you'll find it really challenging and difficult. Try to relax the chest and the belly if there's tightness there. Notice where you're finding it hard to release and let go. And maybe just do some deep belly breaths, or the 3-part yogic breath. Noticing if that helps and everything softens a little. And so gently we'll just take one more breath here. Just doing about 2.5 minutes in that pose today. Take your time coming back into neutral. And just thinking about how that feels, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, whether it was tough or actually quite easy today. Relax. Where are you feeling it? Perhaps even in the arms or the wrists, you notice the after effects. That's a really lovely pose for all of the meridians that flow through our legs. So again, we're influencing the stomach meridian. Really try and relax your buttocks, the pelvis and your back. And then gently, as those sensations fade, we'll draw the knees in. Have a little rock first, coming up for the other side. I wonder if it will feel the same, whether it be easier or harder, and what else we'll experience. So we'll only do, again, the same amount of time, about 2.5 minutes, so it's not too intense, but I'm definitely going to use a little cushion for the knee. So bringing that left leg forwards and really allowing your right leg to stretch backwards. And feeling where you're tense. When you first come into this pose, everything can feel quite locked up and engaged with our muscles. So just trying to become passive. Let things soften. Even the breath might feel very tight in the belly. Just bringing your awareness maybe to the 3-part breath. Letting everything gently start to ease and soften. It takes time. It's quite intense on our hip flexors here. Trying to relax maybe through the arms and the upper back too. And noticing if you're tight in your right leg, the right calf. Deep breathing. Notice if you're breathing into your chest and it's short, rapid breath. Quite often when we're in a difficult pose or anything difficult in life, the mind will always give up before the body does. So let's just breathe deeply into the belly. Following the breath gives us something else to focus on. Trying to relax around the sides of your waist. Okay, and one more breath. Let's gently come out. Sometimes you get to a certain point in a pose and it actually starts to get easier. Just at the time you might come out of it. It's always worth noticing whether you kind of hit that point where actually everything feels better and softer. Let's come down. And just exploring how this feels. Take a few moments to really let your back settle. Trying to relax the muscles that still perhaps engaged here. Softening the lower back. How does it feel through the palms of your hands? Maybe the inner arms you notice or outer arms. So as everything just fades, let's draw the knees in. Little rock. Coming up to seated. So I'd like to come into a forward bend and then a very gentle back bend afterwards. So we'll come into caterpillar. If you want something under your knees, little rolled blanket, that's always nice and supportive, but otherwise just gently exploring this fold forwards. Allowing your legs to relax. And just gently taking the time to soften. Softening into the shoulders and upper back. Do you notice where your breath is going? And if we can follow it down to the belly, feel it expand in the lower back as well. So witness your thoughts. What's going on in the mind? Gradually you might find that you can move into this pose a little bit further. The body is stretched and sort of giving you some space to explore. Following your breath, enjoying how the chest inflates and contracts, all the movement of our ribs. Focusing on maybe the temperature of the breath on the inhale and exhale. Notice if there's a little bit more space for movement. Sitting in this pose really does stimulate our bladder channel. So while we're here, we can think about where this meridian starts on the inner corners of our eyes, the tear ducts, and then it runs over the top of our head, aligning along our neck. It splits off into two channels that align along our spine, and then it comes down. I think it comes back into one channel along the buttocks and then the backs of our legs, and I believe it ends at the little toe, the outer edge of the little toe. It's nice to follow perhaps the lines of these energies as we're sitting in the poses. So we're going to take just a few more breaths. And gently lifting up nice and slowly. When we come out of these poses that we've sat in for 5 minutes, it's nice to be gentle and really listen to how the spine responds to just simply lifting up, then coming down. Having this hour on the mat gives you that opportunity to just have complete body awareness and mind awareness of yourself. So take a few moments just to let everything kind of come back into alignment. If you need to sort of wiggle your hips, wag your tail, or rock your pelvis a little bit just to ease out anything that feels a bit tight. Just moving whatever feels good. And then finding a stillness. Notice if your tummy rumbles as well, stimulating our belly and digestive system. Deep breaths. How do you feel? What do you feel? Where do you feel it? Where does it feel intense? Where is there some relief? And then let's bring our knees into chest again. So coming into seal next, to counterpose the forward fold, we'll come into a backward bend. Just have a few moments just massaging your back. Easing out anything that still feels a bit stiff, tight. Okay, so rolling up, joining me on your belly. Sometimes I like to use a little cushion here, other times I don't feel like I need to. So just choosing if you want some padding underneath the ribs or the chest. And then coming into this lovely seal pose. If you need a block for your head, you can always use one. Just gives you sort of the opportunity for the neck to soften. So let your legs relax. Notice if your heels sort of roll into the centre a little bit. And becoming aware of your lower spine. Breathing into this pose. Taking the breath low. If you need to slide your elbows a little bit to the side, just to ease that curve in your spine, just doing anything that you need to become comfortable. Try and notice if you're tight in your buttocks and let go. As everything fades, not fades, but softens in that lower spine, just become aware of how the upper body feels in the shoulders and around your neck. As you breathe deeply into your belly, you can really enjoy sort of pushing the belly to the mat and feeling your lower back expand. Noticing if your hands and wrists are relaxed. Keep checking in with your legs and your buttocks. So how does this pose feel? Is it getting easier? If it gets easier, you might want to come up a little bit higher, depending on where you are in your posture. Keep looking through your body. And then gently, let's just take one more breath. Slowly lowering down, moving any props you've used. Maybe pushing back into child's on the way to coming into Shavasana. Very gently. And then Shavasana. So being curious here, how does that feel now through your spine? We've taken a forward bend and a backward bend. Really noticing our lumbar area. Just taking a few breaths and noticing how things are starting to settle in your body. Dropping the shoulders, relaxing the arms. Perhaps you can feel a very gentle coolness through the front of your body, where we have been stretching the lower ribs, belly area. And then bringing your legs in for a little rock. We're going to come into banana. So if this suits you, come into it. Maybe one side will feel better than the other. And if one side you need to be more gentle, then only marginally coming into this posture. Otherwise, choosing something that does suit you. This is a two-sided pose, so we'll do both sides with bananas. If you're choosing another posture, maybe two or one for a little bit longer. Okay, so bringing your legs down, we'll take our feet over to the right corner, lower right corner, right foot over left. And then just adjusting your buttocks and gently bringing the upper body up to the top right corner. If you want arms overhead, and that feels good to enjoy this stretch, that you can. Or you can bring your hands into cactus. Or have your arms down by your side, whichever you prefer. Maybe try each one, see if it feels good for a few moments. And then just gently breathing, really trying to soften into your lower back, relaxing your buttocks and the sides of your waist. Enjoying the flow of the breath here. This one is really great for your gallbladder channel, your gallbladder energy. So linked with our digestive system and the liver. How does it feel today? Do you still feel tight even though you're trying to relax here? Do you need to soften the pose a little bit, be more gentle with yourself? Stretching into our left enhances our Ida, the feminine aspects of ourselves. Our nurturing side, our creative side. So when we come and we're stimulating this left side, we're tuning in with our sacral and our heart and our third eye energies. Keep trying to relax your buttocks and back if every now and then you find that they've tightened up. And then gently we'll come back into neutral spine. So just slowly uncross your feet and come back into Shavasana. Take a few moments here, just really noticing the effects from that pose. How the left side feels quite different from the right, and maybe there's a lovely coolness moving through the sides of your body. Maybe even some coolness that you're noticing on the top of your body, left side. It's always interesting coming out of a pose to notice the subtleties of energy flow, the chi, the prana, as it starts to shift through your body. So let's just hug the knees in for a moment and then we'll come into the other side. Have a little rock. And then extending your legs again, lower left corner. Left foot over right, and then shoulders over to the top left. And depending on how you're feeling in this pose, you can come into it the same sort of degree that you did the other one, or you might have to be a bit softer. Arms again, wherever you wish. I like to take them overhead to start with and just see how that feels. Just enjoy a few breaths here, trying to relax the spine and body. And then seeing how it feels with cactus arms. Changes that lovely feeling across the upper chest. Feeling it on the inside, the upper arms as well. Trying to relax still through your body. And then after a while, I quite like to bring the arms down and just soften into this one. Relax. Stimulating Pingala, masculine side of ourselves, the side that when we're decisive, when we're analytical,
problem solving, when we see the black and white in things. Motivational side. So just enjoying how the breath feels like it's moving in this side of the body. And just keep relaxing anywhere that just tightens up again. Relaxing your neck and your face, shoulders. Following your breath. So we'll take a few more breaths in this side. Just feeling those last few sensations here. And then gently realign into neutral spine. Have a little wriggle if you need to, rock the pelvis, and just find some stillness. Where do you feel the chi flowing now? Perhaps your right inner thigh, inner knee. It might be different for all of us, just exploring whatever you feel. And then gently we'll draw our knees in. Give yourself a hug. Bringing the head up if that feels good, just to stretch through the back a bit more. We've done a lot with our back today. Rolling in circles. And then relaxation. So staying lying down, popping a blanket over you or seated. Whatever feels good. So I haven't taken a card for a while. Let's explore what the angel cards say today. Give them a little shuffle just so that we get whatever we're supposed to hear. And I like to spread them out, close my eyes and just take one. And I like to think that that's exactly what we're supposed to hear today. So we have Ariel. Okay. So just listening and seeing if this is something that resonates with you. It says new psychic and spiritual experiences
are changing the way you view the world and yourself. Allow your spiritual gifts to open through study, prayer, and meditation. It's not your imagination. You really are psychic, and you have connected with the spirit world. These mystical experiences are occurring due to your increased spiritual openness and because you have asked about the angels and your life's purpose. I am part of a large group of angels assigned to help those of you who have spiritual gifts. We will send you additional earth helpers in the form of spiritual teachers, books, and classes, so that you may further open up your spiritual abilities. Please don't be afraid of your gifts. Although you may have been teased or punished or for being psychic in your childhood or past life, we can help you heal these fears that you may have about being psychic or spiritually gifted. Just ask for our help and it is given. The earth needs your help right now. We ask that you regularly send the divine love and light within you towards those who need it most. Simply hold the intention of sending beams of loving energy toward any place, plant, animal, person, or situation, and it is done. We thank you for your earth angel assistance, which is lovely. I think being interested in yoga and the energy we are little earth angels, helping other people, sharing the light. It's just nice to be reminded of that sometimes. Have a little bit of quiet time now, just being and thinking. Very gently. Just bringing your awareness back. Notice where your thoughts went, whether you were deep in thought or whether the mind was very jumpy. And just checking in with how you feel physically, how your practice has perhaps shifted something, whether it's a physical feeling or emotional. Taking a few deep breaths. And we'll start to move gently. If you're lying down, just wiggling fingers and toes. If you're seated, and you can just gently move hands and move your neck. Nice deep inhale and a long sigh. And then hugging knees in. Enjoy a nice rock a few times, side to side, little circles. Just having these last few moments where you really connect with your body. And then gently, in your own time, just rolling up to seated. And as we come to seated, just again having a moment to ground. Feeling your roots, or imagining your roots from your tailbone sinking into the earth. So joining hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.